Advancement Center. What is rythmia? Rythmia is a life advancement center unlike any in the world. We use ayahuasca, metaphysics, farm table organic food, breath work, meditation, yoga, and individual counseling about this amazing change that happens in 1 week. It's a place unlike any other in the world. How do I know? Over 18,000 people have been here. 18,000 people. Think about that. 2,000 individual ayahuasca experiences happened here. 98.37% of the guests who've been here say they had a life-changing miracle during their stay. During their stay, not that I had a good time. I had a life-changing miracle during my stay. The better part, 90.22% say after 6 months, there's a 6-month survey, 9 out of 10 people say this was the week that changed their whole life. Because of that, we have all kinds of people who come here. Normal people like me and you. But we also have celebrities in all different categories. Billionaires, we have musicians, actors, actresses, athletes, politicians, civil rights leaders, and more that have come here and had this amazing change, right? Some of them had such a great experience that they decided to be on our board of directors. Who are they? Who's on our board? Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer of all time. Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, the founder and starter of the Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles. Martin Luther King III, the son of the slain civil rights leader Martin Luther King and a civil rights leader in his own right. Ron White, one of the funniest comedians God ever made, on our board. Alanya Van Zant from the Oprah Network. Jack Canfield, one of the greatest authors of all time, with the Chicken Soup of the Soul series, right? Frank Biden, Joe Biden's brother. Mark Kielberger. Mark is a podcaster, a biohacker, and a civil rights activist himself. Earl Koski, the American businessman. Brandy Sabella, author and producer of TV. Kim Starwood Terranova from the Agape Spiritual Center, an author, actress, and spiritual leader, right? And Dr. Jeff all sit on the board of Rythmia. Why do these people, who could do so much else with their time, give their time to us for free? Why? Because it's that good. It is that good. Now, last week we were super, super busy. This week we have 80 guests here, all going through, and we have Taita Juanito Chindon is here this week doing ceremony here. Last week I talked about something and it was super timely. And I want to really explain this, right? Because this is something that happens to people once they come here. When you come here, you have a soul merger, and in the high 90% of people, by the time they leave, they say, I want to become a beneficial presence on the planet. Now, the bigger you do that, the more darkness that comes out, and there's a reason for it. And I want to explain years ago, right? 2,000-year-old words. Today, it would probably look a lot more. He didn't say this either. He didn't say, forgive them now, but get them when it comes time to go to heaven. Or forgive them now and let them fall on their own swords. Or forgive them now and let them rot in hell. He didn't say that. He said, forgive them. Which is has a completely different note to it, because they were needed in order to make him him. So as soon as you get that kind of clarity, right? That kind of clarity, then you're ready to start this kind of group, right? You're ready to start that kind of business. You're ready, but if you're worried about what you look like, right? And then you shouldn't be doing it, right? Because it takes a person who doesn't care. Now, if your optics are not your thing, I know people that have other things that have become spiritual leaders, and during that time, their arc of becoming a spiritual leader or starting a spiritual business or whatever it is, the things that were hurting them came up and had to be addressed. And it always comes in through others. And Judas is the most beautiful piece of it, because he was the king of betrayal, right? And that's the most hurtful thing to most people in this process. But if you're not ready for that, don't do it. But let's go to the flip side. If you are ready for it, you can create for yourself the most amazing existence that you could ever imagine. And then you could look at all people who are sent to you in thanks, that you're super grateful for these people, and even wish them the best, that for their happiest and highest outcomes and achievements. That's what you want for them. That's what you want for them. So this is the story of what you have to be prepared for, depending on how big you want to go. Now, this is the question. So let's get back to the origin story and say you come to Rythmia, you have this experience, and you decide you want to become a beneficial presence. Then at that point, you can pick the amount of change that you want to make and how you want to do it. There are other ways where you can fall under less scrutiny and less jealousy and less of all those things that come up. And you can do that by how you pick things. So in this experience at Rythmia, which you must get here to do, you have to get here to do it. But in this experience, you can then make your decision of how you want to help. I want to tell you something. And so in this process of obtaining mastery over a particular function or process or gift or talent that leads to becoming a beneficial presence, it usually brings with it a monetary equivalent of good. It doesn't bring it on the same day, right? It actually brings it 10 to 30 years later, which is a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. So within this thing, if you're ready to do that, and you can do it in a million different ways. And I'll give you an example of this. So I know a guy that owned a plumbing company, and their kind of thing, their marketing shtick or whatever was they were the kind plumbers, kind. So if you've ever needed a plumber and you called one and they were gruff and mean and came to your house, overbilled you, Well, this guy didn't do that. They were super kind, super honest, and they did a super good job. Now you think, well, what kind of benefit is that? If you needed a plumber, you would know. Because by the time you need a plumber, that usually means there's like water, hopefully clean water, going throughout your whole house. So what I'm telling you, it's not, there is no correct what to do. I picked this. My friend, my friend Papa John picked cooking pizzas, making pizzas. Everybody chooses a different thing. Kelly chose surfing. You can, but what's interesting is as people live longer, and people are living a lot longer than they were 100 years ago. About, that's 100 years is 2027. 130 years ago, it's double the life expectancy. He was 42, and it's high 70s now. So you have a second life. Come to Rythmia, get your merger, and then go to live your second life. That's the key to all keys, right? So in that second life, if you lived a first life that was, and I don't want to use the word small, but by your own judging, somewhat insignificant or smaller, didn't impact a lot of people, that has nothing to do with your next life. Nothing to do with your next life. And I have to tell you what, if you get the opportunity to do stem cells somewhere, do them, because they energize you to do so much more. But when I don't know how old the people are that are watching this, but God, when I was a kid, if you saw someone in their 40s, they were old. Now the 40s are young. The 40s are young. They're looked at as kids. You have many lifetimes in one life. So please come to Rythmia, have this merger, and then go as big as you want to go and use all the negativity to your own personal benefit. So use all the negativity that comes to your own personal benefit. And that's all I want to tell you today. Hey, I'm the author of 2 books. One, Blank the Moon Said, and the other one is Truthonomics. And this one teaches you how to manifest. I've always been a lucky manifester. I was a millionaire in my 20s. I sold a company for $90 million when I was 42, and I've just been a lucky guy in that area. And it was explained to me in a ceremony, an ayahuasca ceremony, why I was lucky, and I put that into this book. And it's a quick read. It's worth getting. Fantastic. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in. And by all means, right, get to Rythmia, right? Why are all these people coming here? Because there's something that happens here that happens nowhere else in the world. Please come to Rythmia. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. And we'll talk to you next.